Hi everyone, Miss Pratt here. So today we are going to draw a fall landscape. So what you need is some crayons or some markers. I'm going to use some markers, but what you need to do to start with is to get either a black or a brown marker or crayon to use, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to start out with drawing a scarecrow. Now, our scarecrow is going to be over in the corner. And we're going to start with a circle shape for his head, but we're not going to close it in, all right? We're going to leave the top part open, almost like a bowl, okay? So the reason we're doing that is he has to be wearing a hat, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to draw an oval on top of his head and color it in with a little piece sticking up to make it look like a hat. Okay, now our scarecrow needs two arms. They're going to be sticking out. So you're going to do a line that goes from under his head out on both sides. Okay, now what is our scarecrow made of? Normally, they're made of hay. So we're going to finish his arms. So we're going to do a line below it. Now the lines aren't going to touch here. He's got to have room for his body. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a jagged line closing up his sleeves that we can add some straw coming out of in just a minute. Okay, but before we do that, we're going to add his shirt. So we're going to close in his shirt. And he needs some pants going down to the edge of the paper with a line in the middle. All right. You could add a jagged collar. He might have some buttons. He may need a belt. Okay. He could even have a jagged hole in his pants. Okay. He does need an eye or two eyes, a nose, and he could be smiling. He could be a grumpy scarecrow. Okay, so figure out what your scarecrow is going to look like. Now we get to add the land for our landscape. So a landscape is an artwork that has land in it. Okay, there's landscapes, there's cityscapes, there are seascapes. So they describe what you see in the picture. All right, so a landscape has land in it. So what we're going to do from here is we're going to do a horizon line, which is the line where the sky and the ground meet. All right, so I did kind of a rolling line all the way from one side of the paper to the other. Okay, now my scarecrow is going to be at a pumpkin patch. So what I need are some lines coming down from the horizon line down to the ground. Now, we know if we look at like out our window, or if we look at pictures, the things that are closer to us are bigger than things that are further away. So what's going to happen with our lines is that they're going to narrow as they go out and widen as they come forward. So it's wider at the bottom than it is at the top. Okay, so wider at the bottom than it is at the top. Wider at the bottom than it is at the top. We've got to be careful and not cut through our scarecrow. All right, so there is my rows of pumpkins. Now what I have to add is my pumpkins or my squash or my gourds, whatever it is I have there. So if you're going to make pumpkins like me, what you need to do is kind of like we did with our pumpkins or with our scarecrow's head, do a circle but don't close it in, and then add the stem. All right, so remember they're going to get smaller as they go back. Okay, and they're going to be bigger towards the front. All right, so you can have as many pumpkins on here as you want. You could even have some people walking around. You could have another scarecrow. You could have some animals. All right, you can be creative on what is in your landscape. Okay, you might want to add a barn up at the top. If you want to do that, it would probably be a square or a rectangle with a triangle roof. You need a door to get in it. And I'm going to add an X crisscrossing so you know that's the door. You may need a silo. So silos have round roofs on them. Okay. You may have some fencing. So for your fencing, you would just have some lines coming up. Follow that horizon line all the way across. All right, so you can be creative on how your pumpkin patch looks. Okay, you decide what it looks like, what's on it, and then you can color it in. Okay, you may think about adding some blue to the sky or making some sunshine, maybe with some rays coming out of it. Okay, so be creative, finish your landscape, and color it in. All right, bye.